Hey, this is Milz from America. We're on interview number 23, I think. 23. We have
23. Wow.
very special guests today. We are interviewing
Sung Beats. Sung
from
Beats from the USA, from New York City.
specifically New York City. Can you show the shirt, like maybe put the frame a little bit down real quick? Yeah, there we go. There you go. Esh, Esh, America,
Esh, Esh.
America, shit, America, NYC shit.
So you're in Baltimore, right?
Yes.
All right, yeah.
So I was born in Serbia, came over, lived in Wisconsin for like 21 years, and then
Oh,
I've been
wow.
out in the state of Maryland now for like 7 years with my wife. So at Silver Spring,
Nice.
DC area down there. Now we live like basically an hour north in Baltimore. Yep. So
Cool.
my goal is to drive 4 hours north up to the American champs and stuff. Check it out.
I wonder if they're gonna have it this year. Probably not, right?
Probably not. I mean, just
Doesn't seem
like
like, yeah.
and you were the first one to tell me like that you like realistically doubt that like December 3rd Progressia is even gonna
I doubt,
happen.
I doubt. I mean, things are getting pretty, they're getting worse here in America. So like,
We're almost up to 136,000. We might have just passed it like
yeah,
5 minutes ago as I say this.
so crazy.
We're not.
But that's okay. This is a good time to just kind of, work on your stuff. That's what I've been doing. I've just been in the lab, just working on my music, cooking up routines. Hopefully, like, I'll have a bunch of stuff by the next GBB. Probably, I'm thinking it's going to be 2021, and I'll be more prepared because I feel like if I competed this year, honestly, like if COVID didn't happen and it was, in April, I was a little bit unprepared for it, to be honest. So that's a silver
Really?
lining for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. If you say so. And like we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about GBB, and pretty much other things. Okay, so first things first. The meaning behind your stage name.
Sung Beats, right? So, I mean, my name is Sung, so that's pretty self-explanatory. My last name is Lee, and I used to just call myself Sung Lee Beatbox in the beginning, and then my friends were just like, "Yo, just add the beats on it because your name is Sung, and it just makes sense. You sing or you use your voice and you make beats, so just do Sung Beats." And I was like, "All right, this is like, 4 years into me doing this professionally, and then yeah, I just changed my name to Sung Beats, and then it stuck, and I'm happy with it. Yeah."
Great. Okay, moving on. A non-beatbox background about yourself. So like basically like where were you born, musical influence, like non-beatbox musical influences, like I don't know, like your favorite hip hop whatever that got you into like, wait, yeah, this is cool.
So I was not born in the States. I was born in South Korea,
Okay.
and then I moved around a lot when I was young. From country to country, and then I came to the States, to New Jersey actually, when I was 9, and I was in Jersey ever since. I recently moved to New York like maybe 4 years ago, but I'm actually a Jersey kid. So, yeah, and as far as my influences that are non beatbox, I'm kind of into like the EDM scene nowadays. There's this artist called Rez. Have you heard of her? She's a dope ass producer.
As you said,
She usually does
REZZ.
REZZ. She does stuff in like the 100 BPM tempo and super. It's She calls it hypnotic bass. I'm really into
I'm
that,
I'm
and
not really
it's kind
into
of
much
influenced
100 BPM. I'm into like slower, so like the
my.
like the trap.
Gotcha. Like,
Yeah.
I like that too. I mean,
Well, of course, like
trap
we're
is
gonna talk
dope.
about Panda. We're
Yeah.
gonna talk about your wild card and stuff.
Sweet, 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 sweet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, what was the other part of the question? I think I
I think that
I
was it.
got
I
it
mean,
most.
yeah, like how like you were saying how Res kind of like you like that was like
Yeah.
your kind of like your in thing, and and the next question was gonna be your solo beatbox background. So like, how did you get into just basic
Uh,
boots and cats? Like, did you watch a Joseph Pulpo video or something like that?
so it wasn't Joseph Pulpo. Since I'm a little bit older, it was back in 2004, and it was this dude called Effects, EFFEX. I probably most people nowadays won't know, but like some of the OGs will. He's just some dude, and he was in like Florida on stage. It was a viral video. He was wearing a white T-shirt, and he was doing all the Kenny Muhammad
Wait,
routines, like the one technique.
I think I might know who you're talking about, or like the video you were talking about.
Yeah, it was pretty viral back then. I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but I mean that was the first video I saw of like a legit beatboxer, and I was like, God damn, this is sick. Like I can't believe this is actually coming from his voice. And then my journey began into beatboxing. I just kind of like dabbled with it, and it was just kind of like a side hobby. I did it throughout, high school and even throughout college. Like I do all the open mics and stuff like that. And then I graduated from college, started working a full time job, figured out that that wasn't really my thing, and then I just decided to quit that job and get into beatboxing, and I've been doing that ever since. It's been quite a journey. Yeah.
Nice. So, as I understand, like some people that I actually a number of people that I've interviewed, including myself, we kind of started like the solo beatbox plus the 505. But as I understand it, like I've seen YouTube videos and stuff of like you were on you were like you used to do the just specifically solo beatbox on stage before you
Right.
even got into the whole looping. So if you want to talk about that real quick
Sure.
before we get into the 505 stuff.
Yeah. So basically, I've been beatboxing solo for 16 years. Uh, and then in 2013 or 2014, no, sorry, these are the wrong times. So like 2011 is when I first discovered looping, and I got this app on my phone called Loopy HD. Have you heard of it? It was
I
way
saw
more
those
basic back
videos.
then,
I saw that your
right?
videos. Jeez.
And so I was in college back then. This is like 8 or 9 years ago, and that was my first time experimenting with the looping. I thought it was dope. Then like a year or two down the road, I got my 505, and then I just realized, hey, not a lot of people are doing this 505, the looping. I think I have like a pocket here to like dive into, and then I just decided to sort of just kind of almost quit the normal beatboxing so I could take advantage of the looping, which was not really popular back then. And so the solo beatboxing, I'll always have a passion for it, and I love to watch all the new cats just killing it. But in terms of my skills as a solo beatboxer, it hasn't improved because like I haven't really been doing it for the past like 7 years or something because I've been so focused on the looping.
But to be fair, though, I mean, like with your inward K, for example, I mean,
Mhm.
like, I mean, wouldn't you agree that in order to and like we'll get to the GBB 20 wild card, but in order to even be considered as a top 10 of something like that these days, wouldn't you agree that your solo beatbox of like your 16 years that you said like it pays off to like
Oh, definitely.
keep it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like my experience doing the solo beatboxing has influenced my looping style in a positive way because you know um, just all the sounds, you just have a wider sound library that you could use in the loop station, and that gives you just different things to explore for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, then you tackled almost 75% of my next question was your RC505 background. So you mentioned the Loopy app. I saw you were like the main spokesperson for that app. Um, Now some people
I
started,
love that.
yeah. Some people started with like chaos pads. Some people, I think maybe it was like Faya Braz, like in the GBB 2013. He did. I think it's a RC300 where you had to like smack it
Yeah,
before the 505 became a thing. Now you can just doop 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 like that.
yeah, yeah.
So like, what was your kind of background into? And then once you tell us that, then we'll get into the style.
Right, right. That actually reminds me. The first loop station I got was not the 505. Yeah, you just reminded me of like the previous versions. There was the 300, which is like three phrases, I think, and then you got to bang on it. It's 300 was like three, but it had more buttons. Yeah, so it's got like, yeah, I forgot. It's definitely three phrases though, because I remember when the 505 came out, I was like, whoa, two more phrases. And then prior to the 300, I did get like, I think it was called the RC20. Is like one little stump box like this. Just two things, yeah. And yeah, I definitely, when the 505 came out, it definitely was a huge revelation. Like it was a huge boost.
Life changer.
I realized that, yeah, a game changer for sure. Like compared to the 300, just the fact that you have a machine that you can, the fact that it's tabletop, like that wasn't a thing back then. There were these they're meant for guitars. They're all like foot pedals, so
Yep.
it was kind of hard on your fingers, or like you had to bang on it, and like the timing would get screwed up. And
I mean,
yeah, I love the 505. I just hope they get a better version now, because I feel like we've explored almost everything there is to know about the 505
yeah,
as a community.
we'll eventually get into like second devices and the whole concept of that. Um, so you mentioned like first of all, you called it the two phrases. I thought they were called tracks. So like the RC2,
Tracks,
yeah, yes, like the RC202 that Jambi the Space God, when I interviewed him, um, and he actually, and it was nice because he actually turned the like when it came to like the drop a beat portion at the end, he actually turned the camera around, and you can still watch it to this day, where he actually, before dropping the beat, he actually modeled how like there was like it would say FIL or just FL, and you and I would know, oh, filter. And then I'm like, and then
yeah.
I was skeptical. I'm like, but are there still all the parameters? So like where you can do like a 0, 100, 172, and just, and it makes the doot, 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 and you can do all that. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can. It's just you have to. There's a lot more pushing of the buttons and going around. Whereas now, filter filter is on B, my reverb is on C. Like we can like do
Yeah.
things a lot faster. But like he demonstrated like the 202 is still gangsta. It really is.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
I've never tried it.
yeah, I really good. Anyway, okay. So now you want to talk about your 505. I want to kind of, so with you, usually I would combine the two questions of how's your 505 now with the style, but with you, you've done so much on just the RC 505. So if you want to kind of take us back to GBB, I think it was GBBB, I think, of 2015. Because here's the thing, I really don't know how many people, especially, I'm serious, like I don't know how many people these days really know that there was an American looper 5 years ago. Like most people think of American
Yeah.
loopers, they have to catch up, especially to UK and France. But like
Right.
if you want to kind of take us through like 2015 and how you maybe went underground and then came back up.
Yeah. So I did compete back in 2015. It was like one of my first battles in general, uh, and I forgot how it happened. I think Papuni just hit me up. I feel like Papuni just hit me up on like Facebook chat, and then I was like, sure, I'm down. Back then, the scene was way, way, way smaller. Even the crowds, like the turnout, less than 50 people, I'd say back then. What's that?
Oh,
I can't hear. I don't know what you're saying.
no, I was just like going like this because it was little. You said it was very little.
Oh yeah, but it was very little. Yeah. Um, I competed. My first round was versus Mondo, who eventually ended up winning the whole thing. I didn't perform too well, in my opinion. No, that's not an opinion. That's probably a fact. I did not perform so well, but I did learn a lot from that experience. Like I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go home. I'm a little bit bummed out because I flew all the way here, spent all this money, but I'm gonna go home and I'm just gonna like grind and work on my craft for a few more years until I get to the level that I want to be. And overall, it was a great experience. Sometimes like your failures are your biggest lessons in
Yeah,
life, I'd say.
I and I love your attitude on that. Like it really is process and journey. Like sorrow, like he wins everything on his first try,
Yeah.
but like where's the self reflection in that? Oh yeah, yeah, I'm super in dope, and I won, but like, did you make any mistakes? Like you know what I'm saying? Like someone like Rhythm Mind, like he definitely had to work his way up. Like
Right.
I mean, even though technically GBB 19 he won it, but it wasn't his first time trying. Like so.
Right.
Anyway, back to you. Not all these French loopers. French loopers.
Right.
Bleh. Anyway, um, yeah. Okay, so let's go back. So you said like afterwards you reflected on it, and then I think we're like I think you went underground and kind of came back up. So if you want to resume that part of it.
Yeah. So I went home, and by the way, this is around the time when I was basically because I'm a street performer. I don't know if you visited New York City, but there's a big culture
I've
around
seen.
street
Well,
performing
yeah,
here.
especially like with the history of the subway thing, and I
Yeah,
think I've
yeah, yeah,
seen you plugged in, or I mean, not in person, but like I've seen all the videos of you, and like even like private parties, like on a rooftop with your grand delay routines and stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah. So I was the I was busking. That's what I was doing to make a living back then. And so after GBB happened and I lost, I was like, I'm just gonna keep doing this in the subways. I'll work on my skills. And then, a couple of years passed. It was 2018, and Kayla, shout out to Kayla Malati. She's like, hey, son, you should compete in the loops because we don't have that many, loopers out here in America. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. And then I won, which is cool. But I've been practicing a long time before that. A lot of I was watching a lot of battles too, like all the GBBs prior to 2018. I saw the skill level improving, and also like everybody was starting to incorporate more effects every year. Progressively, people were getting more technical with the effects. So I actually originally started out thinking that effects was cheating, and like I'm just gonna do it all vocals. And then over time, I kind of opened myself to learning more about the effects, and now I use both, like just vocal based looping and also effects based, just a combination. Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. Was it Rocks or Loops? I don't know if he was the fifth judge who judged you at 15 because it was in no order. Reeps, Darney, Alum, Belo, and anyway. But the point is, like, during Rockster Loop's interview, we talked about how he's judged in for 20 years, whatever, and
Yeah.
he was saying that if at Pancakes, like we're just going to use the final round when you were there in person to see it. Um,
Mind over pancakes.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
that particular battle, um, if that if that had taken place in 2018 plus, I think
Hmm.
Pancakes could have won. But Roxu Loops actually said that how like he's a purist and he thinks that the judges 5 years ago were also purists like him, and so that's why Mondo, like he just like, and then the grand delay and all that stuff.
Right, right. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. The whole purist versus effects scene. I personally think it's like when I do shows to non-beatboxers, I have to be careful sometimes with using too much effects because the way they interpret it is like you're just kind of like pressing buttons and cheating. They don't really get it that the fact that the source of all the sounds is the voice. So what I do in my personal shows to non-beatboxers is I start off with just more purist style, more vocal based looping, and I won't even touch effects. And then maybe like 3 or 4 songs into the show, I'll actually introduce the effects. I'll tell them, hey, there's button ABC on the track effects and on the input effects, and if I press this, it makes this kind of sound. If I press that, it makes another sound. And then you just kind of have to like hold their hand and like walk them through it, and then they'll understand, hey, that's how it works, and then they'll appreciate it more. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because if you start off with all the filters and the panning delay bases,
yeah,
what is this? Is this Martin Garrix? Is this
exactly.
Skrillex? Anyways, yeah, that's great that you hold their hand and walk them through. Because even like when I teach beatbox and loop to my students, I'm still doing that. Um, so we don't really do that during like a extended school year, summer school thing. But I mean, I do what I can, and my student, I'm still at the special needs school, so I still have like the
Can I ask you a question?
yeah, shoot.
So when you teach your students, do you ask them to buy a 505? Or like do you share your looper, I
Yeah,
guess?
so I share it. There's some students that aren't the greatest with like technology, like they want to play around with it. So like you have to know it's the usual thing of like knowing your students. Now if it was a bunch of grown adults or like more higher functioning level high school students or whatever, then yeah, they could understand and the buttons and the effects more. But like for like some of my lower functioning students, I have a bunch of posters. I have my school supplies over in that part of my basement. Um, where it's like, okay, do you want to press the A, the B, or the C button? And then like give them a chance to think. Okay, I want to hit the B, and then for them, okay, now on the B button, do you want to do flanger or ring? F for flanger or r for ring. Okay, all right, and then we'll do it. Like that's like the lowest version, and then we go all the way up from there. So it's just knowing your students, getting super
That's
creative. You
interesting.
have to get really creative.
Do you ever film those lessons? Like, I would love to check that out to see what it looks like.
So at least here in America, there's this acronym FERPA, which is like the Family Education Rights to Privacy Act.
Right,
I
right.
mean, principal generally, as far as I know, principals can grant the recording, but that's usually for like interviews and for like if it's like educational promotions within the school districts and stuff like that. Um,
Got it.
yeah, so it's not exactly like the episode 4 of Reaps's art therapy, where like everything there. I mean, even then, and that's another perfect example. Like they probably had to get permission from that principal, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure,
But
sure.
that's why on Insta, like when I've tagged you, it's mostly just like the pictures of like the laminated manipulatives and the laminated posters that I use. So yeah,
I love that. I love that. Keep doing what you do.
keep doing
Not a
that.
lot of people are teaching looping, so that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's not exactly like Arthur Henry where he's gone out to college campuses and a ton of, or like he just dropped a video the other day, where like one little girl played violin. So then he showed the video and her audio of her doing the violin. Another kid, a separate kid, did a pencil tap, and so like another kid came up
Nice.
and hit the buttons, like kind of what I already demonstrated to you. And so I don't know, like I might do that. And if it was something like a workshop, then yeah, like like then I could probably videotape more to show people like you. So you just kind of gotta, yeah. But that's awesome that you're very interested in me teaching and stuff, teaching those particular things. Okay, moving along. Okay, what is your loop style if you have one?
Loop style, huh? I mean, I guess I touched on it before. Uh, it's almost like I have several styles, if that makes sense. Like I had a pretty big background of doing tons of covers, especially because I performed underground. And when you're busking in the streets or in the subways, you need to catch people's attention by doing stuff that's familiar to them. So I would just do cover after cover after cover after cover. And so that's how I know the Panda cover and all of that. And a lot of them you can find on YouTube. So that's like one style, just kind of just replicating the covers with my voice. And then I have more original stuff, and I guess the original stuff is more effects based. I find that the effects really gives me the ability to manipulate my voice and just kind of get the harder drops. All the EDM stuff, I get that through the effects. In terms of genres, I'd say hip hop is one of my strong points. Hip hop, trap, uh, the 100 BPM stuff I like too, and just dance music in general. 130. That's pretty much my style. Yeah.
All right. So next thing, I'm glad that you mentioned busking. And I think of also on Instagram, which I know you have I think you still have a good presence on there. Is iHeartRadio, and I think even like a Coachella. So if you want to talk about some of those other kind of in real life gigs.
Right. Well, Coachella was more of an aspiration. I was like, I want to perform this at Coachella, but I haven't actually performed there. That would be sick if I can though, in the future. One of my goals. The iHeartRadio was more like it was a little gig. So like their staff brings in musical guests like once in a while, and like they get together in this like coffee house space, and they have an artist every once in a while, and they reached out to me and I did it. But it was more like a private kind of like a just performing for their staff. It wasn't like I was on iHeartRadio, you know what I mean? But it was fun. It was fun showing them, my looping. They'd never seen anything like it. I think they enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Also, that reminds me about seeing looping for the first time. I did perform at a prison like twice. So that was a hell of an experience because these guys, they'd never seen looping ever. They're just like totally unfamiliar with the technology. And then when I show them what it's capable of, like I would show them all the effects and all the buttons, they were like completely amazed. So
Yeah,
prison gigs is sick.
yeah, because like and that's awesome that you do that. That's really good. I wish more people, without getting too political, I wish more people would do that. Those type of things.
Right.
I mean, you probably equated it to like produce like just a producer like radio hits. How like you got like you've probably heard a kick before, a hi hat, a snare.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably heard a vocal bass. Maybe not like like they don't know what that is, but like a bass. Then they melody or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like
vocal production.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Okay. Next one. Your experience with the USA community online and in real life, and then if you want to actually combine this with the international community, so like American, maybe do if you want to do like American first and then international, or whatever order you want.
Cool. So as far as the American community, I was kind of like not really that involved, to be honest. For several years, I was just doing my own thing. And after I competed in the loops in 2018 and I won the looping category, I was like, yo, this is so dope. I want to come out to more events and just like support the scene and meet more beatboxers, meet more loopers. So I would try to make an effort to connect more. Both, I do that a lot on Instagram or social media, but also, showing up to actual live events. Like the Beatbox House was having like a monthly thing back. I checked those out. Those are dope. Even if I'm not competing, I try to make it out to, some of the battles. That's always fun. Yeah, I do enjoy, being more involved with the beatbox scene nowadays. Whereas in the past, I was just more like, I'll just do this thing on my own. It was kind of like the wrong mentality, because we want to support each other. That's for sure. And then as far as international, my only contact with like the international scene in person was the 2015 GBB loopstation where I competed in, and so I met like all the guys that are like Pancakes. I met MB14. I met that's the year he blew up. A lot at Barra I met there, Wawad, all these guys. So I made some cool connections there, and then in last year, so 2019, there was Belo's, beatbox battles what do you call it?
World.
Looping Masters event?
Oh
Looping
yeah,
Masters?
looping masters.
Looping Masters. So yeah, that was the second international event that I attended. Met so many more loopers there. I mean, I was rooming with Arthur Henry,
Yeah.
and Jimmy was next door to me, and we all just became buddies, and it was fun like sharing all our music together. I just look forward to meeting them in the future. Hopefully 2020 in December, but most likely the next year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Now, do you want to talk about your GBB 20 wild card? Like the mentality of, because like there's people watching. Like, how did you, like, with the looping levels getting so much higher and higher and higher and higher, and the number of applicants getting bigger and bigger. How did you get all the way to like number 8 or 9, especially when there aren't as many established American loopers? And if you want to talk about the styles or some of the effects that you used for that wild card.
Right. How did it get selected? Honestly, uh I thought it wasn't gonna get selected. So the day it came out, the results, I was going one through. They're showing all the winners. Showing each video after another. So it was one. One was what, Brez, I think.
Robin.
No, sorry, it was Robin. It was Robin, and then like maybe it was Brez, and then a couple more.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, I'm not gonna make it. This is like the fifth time I've tried. After 2015, and then, fuck, I'm not gonna make it. And then my video came up, and I just like I
Lost it.
screamed off the top of my lungs. It was like it was surreal, and I was like, yes, this is my chance. I mean, I guess you'd have to ask the judges like why they thought it belonged in there. I think it was a good routine. I think it was clean, and audio was good, and the drop, the drop was good. Um, the thing about these wild cards is, this is just my opinion though. It's hard to judge them. It's
Oh,
really, really hard to
yeah,
narrow
like every
down.
year after year after. That's what I was saying. Like,
It's impossible, man. So like, it just depends on the preferences of the judges. Like, literally, I think at a certain point they've seen like 100 wild cards. They just have to go with their gut feeling,
yep.
and that's what happens, in my opinion. I'm just happy to have been in that top 10. Yeah. And also, it probably helps being the American loopstation champion. I know they're supposed to be unbiased, and that's not supposed to matter, but maybe it did. Who knows?
Yeah. Just like Gene.
Oh, one more thing.
Yep.
One
Go
more
ahead.
thing, though. I did show that cover. I'm sorry. It is a cover, actually.
Really?
That routine. It's a cover of That's a cover from The Truman Show. Have you ever watched that movie? It's called The Truman Show, and I think the composer of that like movie soundtrack was Philip Glass. Anyways, that's like my dubstep kind of rendition of it.
Oh, that was
Damn, I
dubstep.
forgot what I
Oh, I
was
thought
gonna
that
do.
was like that was trap.
I don't know what you call it, trap or whatever. Yeah, I
Because
guess.
I thought like dubstep and rhythm is basically what is like Christoph stuff. And I thought trap was
Oh yeah,
trap
yeah.
was like basically you and Sorrow, especially because like one of his traps. I'm sorry, one of his routines in French literally is piège, trap. That's the translation of
I love that routine.
Anyway.
I forgot the question. I forgot where I was going with this. What was
I
the
think
question
that
again?
pretty
Sorry.
much. Oh, I was gonna ask like, but the last drop. I mean, but I'm guessing like the second drop. I think it had 2 drops. Da-dum, da-dum,
Yeah, I
da-dum,
did. I did.
da-dum, 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 da-dum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was more your.
Granule delay, man.
Yeah.
Did you like the first drop better or the second?
Well, I thought in basic structure that your second drop should be maybe not so much heavier, but like more comprehensive, like the chorus. That's what I always thought
I
in
got you. I got you.
structure.
That's what a lot of people gave me that feedback too. So you're probably right. Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
especially when you're so like my looping style is very much longer phrases, whereas everyone's these days is like literally like that. So when you're able to do like the more trendy EDM stuff, you actually have the time to do two full drops and like some build ups
Right.
before that. But like with my style, it's kind of like Robin's, where it's gonna take
Yeah.
longer, but then when it gets to the climax, and then he and I also like to do fades, very long fades.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know. Oh, I was gonna say, um, they say technically you should try to, or ideally you should try to wait until not like the last day and like the last hour, because like there were like 20 submissions in like the last 2 hours. Five of them, I think five of them actually got DQ'd because there were 93, literally there were 93 submissions, but only 88 got scored.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so Robin was the first person like within a few days after, but then he got first place. Um,
So this, what I want to say is
sure.
this might be controversial, but I do think views are important, and the way you get the views is you got to upload the video earlier so it picks up, and that's I made it. Yeah, I definitely try to make it a little bit earlier this, for the 2020 GBB versus the other wild cards that I submitted back in 2018 and 2017 and 2016. I would be like that guy that would submit very last minute. Um, so all of you guys watching that are loopers and you want to submit to GBB, it doesn't hurt to submit the videos early. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also. I think it. Yeah. Views. I agree. I think it also depends. I will say this. A perk of like the biggest GBB Worlds thing is that they announce things way in advance. It's not
Yeah.
like for the Loopstation Brazil Beatbox Jungle thing that they still announce it, but like it you might only see it because of a friend's Insta story, and they're like, "Oh shoot, I have 3 days." put it together. I'm still make it good though, but um, so I mean, so like GBB. Oh, hi Rusty.
Hey, what's up, Rusty?
Yeah, this COVID-19 has been getting the worst of these small little dogs, especially like with the fireworks.
That sucks.
I don't know if New York has had this problem where you've been living, but like the fireworks, oh my goodness. And like I'm not even talking
Dude, you have no freaking idea.
like a month before, and like you can see how small this little guy is. Crazy, crazy.
It was happening every day for like a good 2 weeks here. Um, and they're pretty loud too. It was just
Yeah,
nonstop. I thought the first one I heard, it woke me up, and I thought it was a gunshot.
yeah. We all thought
Yeah.
they were gunshots. Oh wait. Hold on a second. Uh, oh, okay. The lights went off at first. All right. Yeah. Felt like gunshots. When I edit the video, I'll edit out those 30 seconds. Anyways, let's party now. All right. Anyway,
Let's party now. So,
four four
what's up?
4-4. Why did you do
Name,
that?
please.
Do you really need metronome? Oh, 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 oh. Which is funny because I actually, when I use the metronome, wait, let me do line out real quick. I actually subdivide my stuff very calculated. So that way, like I can hear it.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, but like you get what I'm
Interesting.
saying, though. Okay, let me turn it. Okay, I'm line off now.
That's dope, though. I never thought about it like that. I don't
What?
go with that.
I just told
I
Sung
go
beat
with like
something. Jeez.
the last one. the last one, the last metronome thing. I'm gonna try that later.
I just no, but here's the here's the irony though. Shout out to you. Well, Slizer was the first one who told me about using the metronome. But I think you were the first person to tell me that you use it consistently.
Yeah.
As long as I do like the line out off, right? Obviously,
Right.
but because with me, like I'm really and like you could hear, I'm really big on subdivision. That's why some people are like, "Why do you move so much when you're layering?" I'm like, because bro, in a loop station, if you mess up and it's not even, like perfectly even, then like my high standards, I stop it and I redo it.
Right. Right.
Unless you're like in the chorus, or if you're in the middle of it and you're in the chorus, then I'm like, I mean, in that point, like you got to keep it moving. But like you know what
Sure.
I'm saying though, because like some people go, like
Yeah.
they do the oh oh oh, but there's no subdivision. Um.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
you were gonna give your opinion about it.
Yeah, it's definitely important to. I recommend every looper to use a metronome. I know a few pros that I feel like they don't use a metronome,
Oh yeah, like
but they're
Robin's
pretty
wild card. I don't think like he didn't. I don't think he even used headphones or like the like the
I
little thingies. But like,
I didn't know that.
but
I didn't know
I
that.
saw like the
I'm gonna
huge
check it out.
speakers, the really huge speakers. So,
Yeah,
but in order to get the best audio quality, I'm sure he probably plugged it into the computer like we all are
sure,
supposed to
sure.
do. But
But another guy's Thorson. I've seen his battles,
jeez,
and
legend.
I don't. I love Thorson, by the way. He's one of my
Oh
favorite
yeah,
loopers.
he was the first person that I still have all the screenshots, or like when I would I mean, that's how you take notes now in this century, right? Um,
Right, right, right.
like you just stop it, pause it. Wait, like what's the wait comp -3? Wait, where? How do I get to a comp on here? I mean, this was like when I first started. So like now I can just now
Like
like
the,
let's say like
yeah,
if I have a factory reset, it's I might sound overconfident saying this, but like I know my stuff. I know how to go in there, turn the reverb to 0, blah 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 blah. But yeah, anyway, shout out to Thorson, man. Okay, go ahead.
yeah. So he doesn't use the metronome, but his timing's pretty damn good. The thing about performing live though is even more imperative that you use a metronome because things are just it's just everything just more difficult in a live situation
Especially with
when you
like
have
woo woo
banging.
yeah get it woo, woo, and all this like stuff going on.
Right, right. But also just the speakers are so loud and the subs are like shaking the floor, and it's so important to like hear yourself well. A lot of people will use the best headphones that
Yep.
they can get their hands on to really address that problem. Or some people like me, I like to have a little bit of monitor on the stage.
Oh, okay.
Most loopers, I feel like they don't have monitors. They
Because
just use their
they're
headphones.
afraid of the feedback.
The feedback, that's right. But I feel like I don't know. I've tried both ways. I've tried using a little bit of monitor, and I've tried not using monitor at all and just using my headphones. I feel like if it's just so loud in the venue, like the headphones, I can't hear some certain things.
Yeah,
So
like I
I just
mean,
had like to
if
have
they're
both
just
of it.
jacking everything up, that's why like towards the beginning of the interview, you mentioned open mics. Shout out to like the local bars that I've had in Baltimore that have had open mics. Like I was very fortunate to have 3 separate open mic experiences where I learned trial and error with the feedback, of course.
Yeah,
To like whenever there's a sound person, ask them or find the desk yourself, like purposely for the looper and a beatbox and
sure.
even a solo beatboxer, purposely get them to turn it down. When in doubt, like we're so powerful as beatboxers and loopers, especially like when we put the T effects on and the
Yeah,
grand delay feedbacks and all that. It's much like just trial and error for me anyways. It's much better to
yeah.
have your drop sound a little bit too soft than to just
Mm.
feedback. And also like because then it sounds gained and like too much distortion anyways. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you said what you said about um the speakers for any stage, any mic, any open mic thing. It's tough.
Yeah, you kind of have to play it by ear depending on the venue. Um,
Play it by
you
ear.
have
I
to
see
kind
what
of
you did there.
you you have to adjust. What I personally do, man, is I adjust my effects depending on the venue. Like every venue is different in the frequencies that their sound system has. Some venues are super very low end and they have crazy subs. And for those venues, I would EQ myself, the lows, EQ the lows down a little bit. In certain venues, it's not like that. I don't have to do that. But also like the volume and the quantity, like the feedback. What do you call it? Like the volume of for example, granular delay. Sometimes it's better to turn them down, especially in a really big sound system. You really got to turn that down, or it's gonna feedback.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I think not just the volume. I'm glad you mentioned that too because I need to get even more specific with them. Like, bro, you should like, what's the tendency? And like, be straight with me here. What's the tendency? Like, does it just whoop whoop and distort, or is it towards the high end? Because I've looked at like producers and like people who master, and they say it's better to have more of the high mids than it is to have the lows because then it gets muddy. Like you'd rather have things
Yeah,
where like we on our end we can easily IFX EQ low mids and lows if we have to, preferably low mids so it doesn't get too muddy. To like do it that way and have like the highs sound more magical rather than
yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. Like it tends to be too much bass, too much of the lows makes things muddy, and you can't hear the other sounds in the mix, and that's like a problem, especially when you're in there, like in a live situation. You gotta have that sound check. Sound check is so important, man. Um, make the best to adjust all your effects to suit the sound system during your check, and that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, shout out to KBA who's helped me with that. Shout out to Sin from Germany who's helped me with that.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Um Okay, that was a really cool audio production stage stage audio 101 right there. I just can't believe I taught Sung Beats something about a metronome. That's sick.
yeah, dude. I'm gonna try
What
it.
is this Mills
It's
guy?
something,
This Mills guy, he's like interviewing someone like Sung Beats. Nobody knows Mills. Why is Mills teaching Sung Beats something? What? What?
dude. You've been making a name for yourself in the looping scene for sure, man.
People think I'm a
I mean,
troll because like I'm so
you've
different, bro.
you interviewed you interviewed Roxa Loops,
Yeah, but
so
like that
that's
only
dope.
has
And
like 30 views. Like
that's right. It'll pick up views. Yeah,
I mean, most of my stuff doesn't
we're
have,
not doing this for the views, anyways.
but oh, that kind of and someone said like the unfortunate truth is that especially nowadays, there's so many freaking trends, and it's like with bass, like we just got done talking about, and like basically, if you haven't battled and done the whole battlement, if you don't have the big battle mentality, like vocoder, that's I mean like that's nothing wrong. Like vocoder for example loves the freaking battle, but um I mean like he can showcase, but I feel like the battle mentality and also the battle results that he's gotten um really get can really lead to the number of views and stuff, and I feel like that's what and like for example I think maybe that's what caught Belo's attention because literally he judged you for okay, so he judged you 2015. Looping Masters was 4 years after that. So I'm guessing
Yeah,
he obviously didn't forget about you, and so I'm guessing like that the stage experience. Maybe what he's like, hey, let's reach out to Sung and see if he wants to come to my my event, which I think
dude.
I was told not just it was live streamed on like 40 different. channels or international channels or something like that.
Well, definitely at least one station in Berlin. It was definitely a stream there, broadcasted there. I don't know if it's 40 though.
Okay, maybe not 40, but yeah,
But you bring up a good point about you know um, like doing battles so that you get exposure, so people remember you, and you'll be more likely to make a name for yourself in the scene and compete in the future. That's a valid point, man. And I kind of yeah, maybe one of the that's why I brought this up before, but one of the reasons why I may have been selected for the GBB 2020 is because I won the American Loops. Maybe I feel like that did play a role. So I recommend any like newcomers or beatboxers that are just starting out to just be a part of the community. Like come out to all the events, get to know people, and if you want to definitely go try compete. You do get some publicity that way, and I think
that's
that's
why
important.
I think yeah, Duds when I interviewed a few hours ago, he said the same thing. Like his I also love his attitude too of like process journey. It doesn't matter if you think that your international wild card is gonna bomb. It doesn't matter. Just try. I
Yeah,
mean, that's what I did. I
yeah.
I started somewhere.
People will see it. People will see it, man.
I
People will
mean,
see it.
even though all the dislikes and the what is that, but it still shows that you have guts.
Right.
So
And the dislikes, I guess that's part of the process too. I mean, if sometimes you could use the dislikes to kind of fuel yourself to motivate yourself to improve. That's what I did. Like in 2015 when I competed against Mondo, I fucked up big time, dude. I was all over the place, and definitely was really disappointing, and I was just upset about my performance because I thought I could do better. But at the same time, I just went home and worked on myself, and I feel like I'm definitely more prepared than before now to compete.
okay. I think you tackled most of my next question is basically what does your musical future look like? Things that you haven't already said. For example, like teaching at SBX camp or like private loop lessons, like not just performances, but like even teaching if that.
Teaching, I don't know if that's like my thing. I haven't really done a lot of it. I don't know if I even enjoy it that much, but I mean, I'm open. I don't know. I've had people ask me on Instagram, "Hey, son, do you give lessons?" And I usually just say no because like I don't know how to go about it. I don't have a lesson plan, or I
Well,
haven't really put much thought
well,
into teaching.
I mean, I can tell you since I'm a seasoned, well, not seasoned, but I'm a pretty good teacher who has to do like all the traditional old school lesson plans and state standards. Anyway,
Yeah.
when it's private lessons, you don't usually need a full lesson plan. For example, like my wife has done tap dancing on the side since she was like 4, and
Yeah.
her company, which also has like a kids section too, they're like, hey, like you want to teach us odd meters because like pretty much like we're really good with 2 4 4 4, but like teach us like go back to your Serbian roots and teach us 11/8 and 13/8, which by the way on loop is impossible to do with a metronome.
Right.
But, so like even though you can go here, so like well this here actually. Anyway, 1 2 3 4 and 5 6. 1 2 3 4 and 5 6. 1 2 3 4 and 5 6. Like if you did the metronome. Anyway, like the level on it. What was I gonna say? The like you'd have to like maybe I should have done like or that. But like you get what I'm saying. Like um the metronome won't help you. So like when Thorson was teaching in his tutorials like how to like use your fingers or tap or use your body. I guess that was it. I don't even know where I was going with that. I just got on a
Me neither.
whole.
We were talking about teaching. We're talking about
Yeah, we were
teaching.
talking about that.
Um, and then you said you don't really have to have a detailed lesson plan when you teach in private, something like that.
Oh yeah. So that's when I got excited and wanted to actually demonstrate like a 13, 16 thing. Shout out to a Galoosh, by
Yeah,
the way, who chose. I don't know if you saw his. It was a 15-8 for his GBV wildcard.
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna check it out though.
Anyway, so for that, so anyway, when I was teaching that was technically a group lesson, not a private lesson. Um, I didn't like I kind of had a lesson plan, but I still kind of went with it because I didn't know all the students. Like I didn't know where they were. So I like usually my teaching style for you would be like, okay, let's start with something easy that I think you already know. And then slow depending on time, 1 hour, 30 minutes, whatever, like we slowly try to get more and more complex. So for you,
Right.
like someone can ask you, "Oh my God, like, can you get me so good that I can make the number 8 wild or number 9 wild card?" So, okay, let's start with basics. Do you know that on your input you should probably have some dynamics, some EQ, and some reverb? Like that's basics.
Right.
Do you know how to use a metronome? And then advanced would be like, how do you get the drop with all the textures? So like I think you would easily smack at that. Easily.
That's something to think about. There's definitely I feel like there's a lack of demand though for learning how to loop. It's still such a small underground thing. Hopefully in the future it's gonna explode. I mean, it is growing a lot. It's been growing big time, just beatboxing in general. I just hope there's more people that want to loop. I want it to grow as big as just regular beatboxing.
I think it has, especially with the Discord. Like I said, like these 13 and 14-year-olds are just smacking.
I want to show up to this Discord. I have Discord. I know like the big one is Beatbox Community.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Which used to be Beatbox Talk for a while, but now they're Beatbox Community. So that was the one that you actually had to be on for the GBB 20
Yeah.
online for your Panda.
Right,
that's the
right.
biggest one.
Which, by
Go ahead.
speaking of the Panda, the audio just got screwed up. I don't know if like it was Discord, but on one of the drops, it just does not sound right. Anyways, I am definitely gonna check out. I'm gonna stop by one of the Discord servers and loop a little bit. I just want to see what's up.
To be careful because there's a lot of toxicity and a lot of like there's a lot of like teenager things and like really a lot of immaturity in the like I'm just forewarning you. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm old as hell because I'm 31. But like it's just the online and if you want to talk about this real quick before basically the drop a loop section, the online community and those communications versus the in real life. If you want to talk about that real quick.
Online versus real life.
And if you don't
The
have
thing
an
about
opinion,
online is
then we can move on to another question. But it's up to you.
I do want to say that online, sometimes you're talking to people that you've never met in real life, so that can be a little bit strange. But a lot of these cats are cool. Sometimes people hit me up that I've never met in real life, and I just
Like me.
sort of don't get back to them.
Like me.
No, but you're different.
How am I
I
different?
like you, Milz.
Meow, meow, meow.
You're an
meow,
exception.
meow, 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 meow. Andreas Peponi Frafel. Reverse that stuff. Unreverse it. Andreas Peponi Frafel. What the hell is that?
We've had like some conversations though, So like I feel like I know you better than some of the other guys, and you've been in the scene for quite a while. You've made a bunch of videos, so like I'm familiar with you.
Oh, thanks.
But sometimes I am not so familiar with these guys, and I don't really have.
I mean, so like,
much to talk about.
well, actually, I mean, you could say that you actually competed against this person, KBA. So like,
Yeah, for the Swiss Beatbox online thing, right? Is
yep. I mean,
that what you
hasn't he
mean?
been
Yeah.
around and haven't? I'm sure maybe he reached out to
I,
you or
I don't think we've ever communicated, but I see that you I don't remember. I'm definitely gonna go check out his stuff for
I mean
sure. Yeah.
that was just one example of
Where's
someone
he?
who's
Where's he from?
uh Netherlands basically.
Netherlands. Yeah.
Yes, like Netherlands
Got it.
and the
I'm
Belgians that
so bad. I'm just so bad with keeping up with um everybody.
yeah, no
You
problem.
know, people in the scene.
That was, I mean, that
Yeah.
was just one. KBA was just one example. Okay, okay. Do you have any upcoming projects or things that you just finished, such as like, um, being a producer, FL Studio, dropping an album, something like that?
The last one, writing an album. It's a work in progress. I definitely have like most of the ideas kind of finished. I just need to record it and like get it done. I mean, we're going through COVID right now, so like it was great in that I had a lot of time to come up with new stuff, and so that's sort of been a blessing in disguise. So definitely look out for an album in the future. That's gonna be fun. As far as that, I'm just kind of just I'm staying home, man, just like you, just you
Bored?
know,
Like,
bored.
how do you have all
Aside
this
from
time to make all these interviews, bro? Like, how did you do 23? How have you done 23 interviews and post them and edit and do all that in 3 weeks? How did you do that? Because I get bored
dude,
very easily.
that is freaking impressive. 23? I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah,
Like
I get
when you
bored.
asked me
I'm
to,
so bored. I get bored easily. Like even at work, like I keep like even like and I was gonna tell you this about the COVID. So I really feel for the parents that they have extra kids at home. And so, like, let's give you a perfect example. Fourth grader, higher level, can work a computer, does their long division, whatever. A kindergartner expected who can definitely work, like touching and all this and all that, but they need more tactile stuff in the human. They're still learning human interaction. So how are you gonna
yeah,
do? And let's say you have like a preschooler at home who is just that's just their lowest level. So like, how are you supposed to do that? And if it's like a single parent, for example, can you imagine how much busier they would be now?
for sure, man.
And the other thing is, for me, I guess I just have always worked smarter instead of harder. That even though I still have like Google Classrooms and I and it's I'm really good at being creative for creating not just like online worksheets and like singing through these virtual lessons right now. So like Zoom, Google Hangouts, like that, Blackboard, whatever. I've gotten so efficient at it that I work way fewer hours than all of my other colleagues. And so
Mm.
I keep I and like there are people I've heard who are working like 14 hours a day. I don't know if it's because of lack of tech savvy because they're older than us. But I keep offering to help. That I just get really bored.
So so are you doing all the stuff that you're doing, with the music and teaching? You're doing that all online right now,
Yep,
all of it. So
yep.
you're not missing any work. That's
Uh,
dope, man.
Correct. But here's the
That's
thing.
dope.
Without getting too negative, and too political. Higher ups. So my bosses, etc. Basically has been giving American school districts an ultimatum: either send everyone back and die from COVID, or I'm not going to fund your schools anymore.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So if I have to go back in August, um, especially with my type of population, that like for the lowest functioning kids, like they're like bodily life skills that you can't socially distance. There's no way literally around it. And like if and even like in a normal, let's say pre-K to 12, um how many of them how many of those kids are going to keep the masks on? I'm talking like the youngest one. How many of them are going to think it's a game? Especially if it's like kindergarten. When I use that example, like they need the interaction, they need to be with each other. Whereas
Yeah.
like the other example of like fourth grade on up, yeah, of course you need to practice in small group work, but um like keeping all the desks 6 feet apart, bro. Really? Like,
Yeah.
I feel for like choirs, like if you teach high school choir, like you can't really practice your harmony, and you can kind of like you can do like the acapella app where like you have like right now this screen has two tiles on it. Like I record my thing, I send it. You record your thing, you send it, and now you and I are producing a duet together. But it's not.
Right.
But it's
Right.
not in
Right.
real time because it's not like a conductor. 1, 2, everybody sing la at the same time. You know.
Yeah, man. It's just a very tough situation for everybody. Like, I don't know what the right thing is to do. To if you open up, more infections are gonna go up for sure. If you don't open up, it just makes it the economy's lagging. Like parents need to start working, but if their kids are home, they can't.
Yeah,
I have
with the A and like with these A day B days hybrids, like if like back to that example of like if I have a kindergartner and a fourth grader at home, the kindergartner goes there. And I'm a teacher. I need or like care people, babysitters, whatever, for my other kid.
right,
And then so
exactly.
if that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then your Tuesdays and Thursdays, your other kid is staying home. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's just I think I really do think that we should it might be worth losing the funds so that we don't and not have all these mass deaths, more and more mass deaths. Because already during the summer right now, like I don't know if you've seen like their summer camps and there and guess how many more cases we're getting.
Mm.
Yeah.
Also, I think like they're threatening to deport students that have visas here. They're studying with visas.
Oh yeah.
Like if they're only taking online classes, they're
I
threatening to
saw that.
deport them. So it's like it's pressuring all the schools to open up, like you said,
Yeah.
which is kind of like impossible right now. So
All right. So to end things on a much more positive note, see what I did there? All right. Drop a loop, drop a solo or loop beat if you want, and any last shoutouts. So some people like to reverse that order and do the shoutouts and then drop the beat.
wait, what? Say that again?
I said some people like to reverse the order of my last two things,
Oh, oh,
where
oh,
like they like to do the final shoutouts
oh, oh, oh,
and
oh.
then they drop their beat.
Got it. Let me see. My looper is here.
And if it's pre-recorded, it doesn't matter.
Nah, I'm going live. I'm
Oh,
just turning it
okay.
on, so we'll do a cover or something.
Yeah. I should have gone live when Wecco actually interviewed me. I was lazy, and I did some pre-record.
Yeah, Carol Baskin. Killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Fed him to tigers, they snacking. What's happening? Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Fed it to tigers, they snacking. What's happening? Carol. You fed him to the tigers. You fed him to the tigers. Shout out to Milz. Oh yeah, Milz. Shout out to Milz from Baltimore. I do that routine for a lot of the college shows I do.
Oh yeah.
I've done some like virtually, and that's like a hot song, so everybody digs that.
That's hilarious. All right, so one more time. This has been Milz from America, and today we just got done interviewing
Sung Beats from New York City. Thanks for having me, Milz. That was an amazing interview. Had a lot of fun. We talked about some great stuff.
Yeah, hopefully that wasn't too. Hopefully that wasn't too long.
No, I had fun.
Okay, I mean it was.
At first, I didn't know what you meant by, because I was like, let's do 30 minutes, and you said that was too short.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then after like maybe 45 minutes, I'm like, oh, this is actually feeling pretty.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. So
yeah.
It was great.
That's good. And I taught you some metronome stuff.